this is my first ever panel. So thank you guys. Thank you for coming. I didn't expect this panel to be so welcoming and full and everything. For starters, how many of you guys have actually worked retail but don't no longer work it? So you worked it but you quit. Okay, you guys still have your sanity. Congratulations. Okay, us workers who still work retail. God bless every one of us. I actually have been working for the same company for about 15 years. I work for a grocery store called Safeway. If you're out west, they do have affiliates out west like Albertsons, Kroger's,
Acme,
yeah, everything else like that. So I work there. I've actually started off with as a courtesy clerk, so I cleaned bathrooms, I cleaned poop, I cleaned throw up. It's not pleasant. And for starters, the ladies' bathroom, why is it the ladies' bathroom is always the most disgusting?
I know, because they have competition with the men who write their own name in poop.
That is true.
True story, guys.
So I worked for courtesy clerk for about a year. I got moved to a baker's assistant, and then I did overnight. So I would actually make the donuts and bread and the bagels, and did that for a little bit. I know. My sleep went wonky, and I'm like, you know what? I need a decent amount of sleep. So guess where they put me? No, they put me as cashier, where I deal with the public.
I'm so sorry.
Yes. So, I have had my fair share. I have been called the B word. I have been called FU like 5 times in a row by the same customer. Thankfully, I've never been asked to speak to a manager. Thank you, Karen. So, I have never actually been done that. Where I live in the city. I live in the city of Baltimore.
I'm sorry.
I know. Where ladies decide that, hold on, that they don't carry around something called a wallet. They put their money in their bras. In the summertime. So naturally, I get boob money. I used to. I've actually had sock money too.
Underwear money's fun too.
I have not had that yet, but thankfully I won't ever appreciate that.
I encountered that.
God, mouth money.
I'm not even kidding.
Sorry, this is a PG-13, isn't it?
Yes.
It's okay.
Appropriate response.
I have Tourette's. I'm kidding.
That's okay. That's okay. So I did that for a couple of years, and the coworkers that I work with, some are okay. Others don't know how to mind their own effing business. Because apparently, I was always called out for being on my phone when even the assistant manager at self-checkout was on her phone talking while dealing with customers. So, I went up to the manager and I'm like, look, I'm very unhappy. So they're like, okay, we'll put you in produce. Okay, that's fine. No. We'll put you in the cut fruit program.
No.
So basically what I do now is, for starters, I don't deal with the public as much. Okay, I'm in a cold room. So I'm in the back, yes, it is cold and all. I just put like 5 layers on. But I actually do the cut fruit and the cut veggies that when you go to like a produce department and it's their self-serve stuff. I do that now. I actually really do enjoy it. For starters, I'm away with people. Like, I only deal with like 5 customers, like if that. And they're usually for ones that like want to know where this is and where that is, when the sign right above them says where that thing is. Because I always look up, it's like, it's down aisle 3. Does nobody want to look anymore?
I can confirm the customers are apparently allergic to reading signs.
I will agree with that.
I work in a McDonald's. Do you know how many people don't even read the freaking McDonald's sign? They come up like, yeah, I want a Frosty. We don't even have a Wendy's in my town. How do you even?
So you can't
Sir,
go.
this is not a
So
Wendy's.
you can't go. Sir, this is
You can tell that the frosting machine's broken.
Yes.
Everyone jokes about our ice cream machine being down at McDonald's. It's only been down like once in the 5 years I've worked there.
To be fair, some of the stores that I've gone to in my town will say dishwashing soap aisle 3. So I look down there because that's what the sign says, and it's diapers. So to be fair, as far as the customer is concerned, you guys can't say nothing if you don't know how to read the signs yourself.
That's true.
I've had to be that customer I was at a Menards.
I'm going through. Yeah, no, it's one of those like 2-story Menards for whatever reason.
Oh,
Those
wow.
1-story Menards, I could have found my way around. As soon as there's a second story, I can't do it. Anyway, so I'm looking for a pry bar that I could use as a cane, basically, because I need it for whatever reason I need it. Anyway, I'm looking down all the aisles. I think I might find a pry bar down based on the signs. Finally, I ended up upstairs on the opposite side of the store where they're supposed to be, apparently. And I said, "Hey, guy in the blue shirt. Apparently, I don't know where I'm going. Where can I find giant pry bars?" He says, "Oh, dude, you're on the wrong side of the store." Cool. Could you like walk me there? Give me more better directions than that? I have no idea where I am.
So, I'm actually, that's enough of me rambling. I just wanted to give like the basic stuff, even though like I have tar stories. I'm actually going to tell 2 stories, and then I'm going to set it out to you guys. I do want to hear some of your stories. So,
I can fill it.
yeah, I could probably fill a book. So this happened actually when I was first started working produce, and we had like these mobile cases, which are about the same size as this table actually. And we would put our guacamole, our salsas, our quesos, you know, dips in it. And the security guard was usually like posted like in front, and you know, so he catches a shoplifter, and they're getting a little bit, you know, frisky and, you know, moving around a lot. So he takes the shoplifter, lifts him up, and slams him in this mobile unit that had our guacamole, our salsas, our quesos, our spinach dips, you know, like everything. Now this stuff I can't put out in 5 minutes. I'm sorry. I have to make the guacamole. I have to, you know, pull the pulp out, you know, mix it, everything. So this stuff is time consuming. So my boss comes back there and he tells me and my other coworker, "Okay, I got some bad news for you guys. A shoplifter was thrown into our mobile unit. Can you guys go clean it up?" And I asked, "Which mobile unit?" He's like, "The guacamole one." I said, "The one that we just filled. We just filled this."
As a former security guard and a guy who cut fruit, this triggers me in 2 different ways.
So my coworker and I were like, all right. So we go up there, just expecting the worst, you know, guacamole everywhere, salsas anywhere. The security guard, bless his heart, somehow threw the guy's butt into just spinach dip and queso dip. Somehow missed the bean dip, the guacamole, the salsas, the things that took the longest, and just put his butt like right in the middle of stuff that takes 5 minutes with the queso and the spinach dip. So now my mental image is this guy just running out like around the city of Baltimore smelling like spinach dip and queso and just seeing it on his pants.
Looking like the aftermath of Taco Bell.
Yes, it
Release
does.
the hounds.
Yes. Now, the other one, I actually have permission to share this with my other coworker who I love like her to death. This is actually going to be like very serious, and this is like not to scare people who still work in retail, but please, you know, like don't let retail push it this far. The weekend that my boss and my other coworker were off, it was just me and her and one other person. And the store manager, her name is Joan. I'm sure you guys have a Joan somewhere, except hers might be Karen, Jessica, Ashley, somebody else out there. You have a store manager who just doesn't know when the heck to leave you alone. Even though you tell them, "I'm doing this right now, this takes like 5 minutes. Come back in me in 5 minutes." No, they come back in 3. Did you finish it yet? No, I'm still doing it. So she is just nagging on me and my other coworker. So much so that she actually stresses out my other coworker and sends her to the hospital. She actually suffered a mild heart attack, and she actually had a ruptured artery. Now, thankfully, she's fine. She was out for just 2 months. You know, I almost like broke down in tears. But when your manager is like constantly on you guys, don't give them that. Like just say, "You know what? I'm doing it. Leave me alone." And eventually they'll try to leave you alone. They'll just come back and nag the shit out of you. Sorry.
Oh no, Tourette's is contagious apparently.
You can
I'm sorry.
you can get away with that.
I'm sorry about the swearing, but it was
You could get away with it one time in a PG-13 movie.
One time. Okay, so I used up my lifeline. But please don't let a manager stress you so much out that they send you to the hospital. Because at the end of the day, they really don't care. Because they'll just replace you with a body. They really don't care. My store manager did not care. I was the only co-worker who actually sent her a card and a balloon and a plush. And my whole department, we were always calling her, just checking up on her, but nobody else sent her anything. Yes, in the back.
I do have a story, but first, if it makes you feel any better, alkali failed too.
Alright, so those are my 2 stories. I'm actually going to put this out on the sales floor for you guys. My heart goes out to every one of you guys who actually did retail. I seriously, my heart just goes out to you guys. Yes.
Okay, so my retail story. I used to work midnights at Casey's. I have autism and stuff like that, so I volunteered for midnights, which is shocked them because nobody wanted to do midnights, but I hate people.
Nobody wants to do
Right?
midnights.
I hate midnight. I hate people, but I like staying up, so it worked. Anyway, so late night, I had this guy come in covered in blood in his overalls. His knuckles are bleeding. I'm not asking questions. And he comes in, gets chicken tenders and gas, and tries to cash in a stack full of lotto tickets, right? And so me, being new and being dumb, I'm sitting there wondering why these aren't cashing in. I'm like, sorry, man. Sent him on his merry way. About a half hour later, the police show up. They were looking for this guy, and they give me his description, and he's wearing these coveralls. I'm like, he was just here. And I gave him all the description, everything that was done, said whatever. So then afterwards, the police leave because they go looking for him, and I go out to check the trash. I wish I was making this part up, but I'm not. I found the cash box from the gas station he just robbed, busted open with bloody handprints all over it, stuffed in my trash can. Crap. Okay, now it's a crime scene, so having to tape it off so people don't use it. Go in and I call the police. About the time they come back, because they were catching this guy, as I was catching this, they were catching him. So they come back and process the cash box, stuff like that. So about the time they got done, it's about 6 o'clock. My replacement comes in because it's 24 hours, so my replacement comes in for that morning. And she asked me, she goes, did you do the trashes? I said, well, I did them all but that one, because that one was a crime scene. And I explained to her what happened. I swear to you, she looks me in the face with a straight face and goes, oh, you always have an excuse for something. Why would I make this up?
Yes. It's just like, hi, yes, the police came and
Yes.
and I found a cash box out of the blue.
Yeah, and Paul Bunyan rode by,
Oh, yes,
Kinda like,
that's
like in cartoons when the kid says that the dog in for homework, except this is like a real life, actual thing.
the criminal ruined my trash can.
Yes, you in the back.
This is coming secondhand, but I love how horrible it is. What it is that this is McAllister's, and they created this new, partner program or whatever, where you can get free things. Well, it broke, and everyone that was using it got endless free sandwiches. And at his store, they had to accept every single one.
Oh.
That single store outsold all other McAllisters in the country in that one day.
Wow. Oh my God, people.
Oh, someone over here. Silver.
Okay, so I've got a couple.
Pick one, because I want to try and get as much as I can.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with the one that'll make you feel so much better than the customer. I worked at a grocery store down in Texas. Anyone from Texas probably knows the name of the store. It's an HBH grocery store. This particular one was right across the street from the headquarters of Dell. So we would often get a lot of the people coming over from Dell, buying their groceries on their way home. And of course, these are all people working in tech, so they think they're so much better than everybody else.
Of course they do.
I get a customer coming through. He's got a bit of an attitude going on, talking to his buddy about, you know, how much, you know, he makes, blah, blah, blah. Goes to pay for his groceries. Goes to use his card. Swipes it once, doesn't read. Swipes it a second time, doesn't read. Does it a third time, looks at me and goes, "Why isn't my card working?" Meanwhile, I'm watching him do this, and I'm just waiting for him to ask me that question, because I know exactly why it's not working. He has the magnetic strip parts in his hand. Because our machines were actually set up that it didn't matter how, if you had the card upside down or right side up, as long as the magnetic strip was going into the machine, it would read it. He didn't figure out that this was the case, looks at me and goes, "What's wrong with your machine? Why isn't it reading my card?" I look at him and I put my retail voice on and go, "Well, sir, you've got to turn the card around." He does this and just does not look me in the eye for the rest of the transaction. I'm just like, "Nice day, sir."
You along the wall.
Alright, so, I currently work in a little loan shop. This lady comes in, she looks at my signage, she looks at my loan material along the wall, she walks all the way down to the big old check and go sign at the end, looks at my big orange wall, looks back at our loan signs, walks back up to me finally, and just, in the lispiest voice, just the weirdest voice I can imagine, "Do you sell snacks?" I'm dumbfounded. So I was like, "I sell loans?" And it turns out she was looking for the Weight Watchers, but she looked at all of my signage first for a good like 5 minutes, and I'm sitting here like,
yeah, it's amazing about like how customers feel like when you just make them feel like so little. Like it's like, yes.
Some of the most interesting things I've heard ordered over the drive-thru, because even though I work in the kitchen, there's a speaker in the kitchen so we can hear everyone that goes to the drive-thru. As I said, we've had people try to order Frosties. We don't even have Wendy's in town. At least once a week, somebody will order a Whopper. Let's see what else. Yeah, soup. At a McDonald's?
Soap or soup?
Soup!
Oh, soup, okay.
Actually, I'm from Toronto, and I believe that some of the McDonald's where I'm at actually have started selling soup.
Which, you know, that always has me wondering. Our Little Caesars has a drive-thru as well. Do you ever wonder if people go through that where like, "Yeah, can I have a McDouble?"
Oh yeah, you know that.
I love the ones that are like, can I just have 30 McChickens? Just 30.
The fursuit in the back who looks so dashing.
Oh, thank you. Can everyone hear me all right through the mask?
Can you open up your mouth a little bit more, or take the head off? If you can. If you can.
It's okay.
He has become one with the soup.
This is real.
Oh, there isn't? Oh.
One moment, okay. While you're doing that, I'm going to take a
Oh my god.
It is an adorable decapitation.
There we go.
Yay!
Our fast food story is okay first before I go on? Yeah. Okay, cool.
That counts.
So I used to work at a Checkers back for my last job. Horrible, horrible manager story. Just did not do anything. All the staff hated him, put basically all the work on everyone else while he essentially sat around. So months of this like animosity build up. Really, I shouldn't have stayed in the job more than like a week in retrospect. Anyway, this is about how he ended up getting fired in spectacular fashion. We have both, you know, as many restaurants do, like a cash box register kind of scenario. Overnight, the man comes through, not the front because he's a manager and has a key, he comes through the drive-through window, busting it open, like shattering it. I don't know if he used a rock or anything. No type of disguise or anything, fully knowing that, you know, store's recorded 24/7. Wearing his, you know, normal work clothes, everyone knows it's him. Steals $3,000 from the register. I'm surprised we still had the restaurant open the next day, actually. Fired the next day, and as far as I know, still in jail. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a good outcome. You with the ears.
Hi. So when I worked at Walmart, at my store,
God bless you.
I was cashier for a year, electronics for a year. They picked some of us to volunteer overnight to help install the new self-checks and put in the new registers. So they did it at my store, and it went great. So my manager approaches me a couple months later and says, "You did such a great job. We'd like you to help out at the other store. You'll be overnight. You'll have 2 weekends off, and then we'll send you over there. You don't need to worry about clocking in or nothing, and you'll be good to go." I'm like, all right. So I go over to the other store, and they tell me that we're going to do our time punches manually on paper at the end of the week, and everything will be fine. So I start working on this project. About day 2, my discount card stops working. I'm like, okay. Bit odd, but all right. So a couple more days pass, and it's still not working. I'm talking to my store, and I'm like, talking to some coworkers. I'm like, oh, my discount card ain't working. It's probably just computer error. So then I can't sign into the computer systems anymore. Then I go to try and clock in with my badge manually, and it tells me my employee number's been terminated.
Wait,
I'm
what?
like, okay. So I'm talking to the manager at the other store, and I'm like, I think they fired me. So she's sitting there. I don't think they fired you. That'd be pretty insane. So I called my store up like later that day, and I'm like, hey, why isn't my badge working there? Well, you stopped showing up for work a week ago, so we fired you. like, okay, so did the co-manager at any point after asking me to work at the other store tell HR that I was going to be at the other store? No, I guess not. So, I start talking to them about getting my job back, and they're kind of hemming and hawing about it, like, oh, I don't know, we're going to have to, I mean, you were fired. I'm like, okay, you did this, not me.
I was still working.
You
Just not at this
told
store.
me to work elsewhere.
So I call the district manager, and the district manager drives down to Davenport and talks to them, and they're like, okay, we marked you as a rehire. And I'm like, okay, so what about my benefits? They're like, well, you're a new hire. I'm like, what do you mean? So I had to call the district manager again to get that sorted out.
So
Did everything get fixed?
Yeah.
Kind of. I lost all my PTO.
As far as anything can get fixed at Walmart.
Just about.
You in the hat. Yes, you.
Okay.
If you want to stand up to just like project your voice out a little bit.
Alright, so I work at a Target. I'm also an EMT. So I was running the check lanes one day, you know, ladies too busy yelling at me. All of a sudden this lady comes out saying that someone's overdosing in the bathroom.
Oh my god.
Nobody else is qualified to, you know, take any kind of measures.
Yeah.
So I, you know, run in there, grab the first aid kit. This guy's like blue in the face. So like, you know, we start the whole CPR process. And this guy comes and goes, oh yeah, I have a thing of Narcan. So we Narcan him, right? The guy punches me square in the face and tells me I killed his high. So he's gonna report me to the district.
That's nice. That you killed his high while and saving his life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clearly you're in the wrong here.
Oh yeah. How dare I?
You with the donut balloon around your fur, around your ear. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. She's a rabbit.
Rabbit.
So I used to work at JCPenney, and this is an issue I had with the manager. So to preface, we have JCPenney credit cards. A lot of stores have credit cards. We can check, like, we can pay your bill and like stuff like that, and we can do other things, but we have to call and pretty much have to hand the customer the phone. We can't, you know, it's pretty much a call for them, and yeah. So one time a lady came in, and I had been working there for almost a year, so I'd been there a while, and she wanted me to check her balance on her credit card, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't do that. You know, it just doesn't let us do that. That's just sensitive information. We can call for you, but they'll want to talk to you, but I can call. Sometimes we get in faster. No. You can check it. Maybe you just weren't trained right now. Like, you must be new. And so I'm like, no, I'm really sorry, but I can't do that. And she didn't ask for a manager, surprisingly.
She didn't ask for her name wasn't Karen, and she wanted to speak to a manager.
I mean, if she did call a manager, it would have just said the same thing as me.
Yeah,
of course. So it kind of a little bit of a back and forth, and then I was the only one there, so I didn't have anyone else to back me up. So she walks off, and as she's walking off, one of my coworkers comes back from break, and she's newer than me. She's only been there like a month. So I ask her, I'm like, hey, did they change it so that we can see the balance? I genuinely think that maybe I missed something, because she was very dead set on it, like someone did it for her recently.
Yeah.
And that was the end of that, she's like, no, they didn't change anything. So later, I get pulled into the office by a manager, and she's like, this customer complained that you were talking about her behind her back. Like, what? Yeah, this customer said you were saying rude things about her, as she was walking away. I'm like, I asked my coworker a question. I had not really, I was related to the situation, but I wasn't talking about her. I just asked if we could do something or not. And the manager was not listening. She's like, well, if you need to complain about something, it's okay, but go to the back. I'm like, I'm telling you what happened.
I wasn't complaining. I was just asking a coworker a question.
Luckily, I didn't get any write-up or anything like that, but it just, I don't know, it annoys me. I'm like, I am super polite. You guys know that. I've been working here for so long, and you're not going to believe me over one rude customer.
Oh yeah, because the customer's always right.
Yeah.
No, they're not. They're stupid. You've been having your hand up since the beginning, and I've been trying to get to you, so you go.
Fine. I used to work for Publix, which, if you're not from the South, is a grocery chain where their selling point is they tend to pass backward to please customers. And I used to work customer service, so we get to deal with all the complaints and all the grifters too. People trying to scam, WIC cards and new mother, infant formula, stuff like that. But we had this one woman. They warned me better when they first promoted me to customer service. She's like, "There's this woman. She comes in, and she's gonna ask for the coupons from the Sunday paper. Just give them to her. And there's a stack over here." I'm like, "Why? Why do we give her coupons?" Because one day she came in and she said she didn't get coupons in her Sunday paper, the Atlanta Journal. Newspaper. $250 worth of coupons. I was like, okay, how long ago was that? Oh, it was about 3 years ago. What? And she doesn't shop here. She doesn't shop at the store. So every Sunday she'd show up 10 a.m. on the dot and be like, I want my coupons. Not even I'm here, no tax or anything. Where are my coupons?
Right.
And then take them and leave and walk out the store and go shop somewhere else.
So were the coupons for your store?
No, they were just like the normal coupons that come in the big Sunday paper. And we were taking them out of another Sunday paper and just leaving them for free. Okay. So finally it got to one point where a representative from the Atlanta Journal, the newspaper, came to the store and said, she's not getting more coupons. She's had $10,000 worth of coupons. And we actually had we had to play Rochambeau at the service desk to tell her who was going to be the one to tell her she was going to get
That was great.
Yeah, pretty short one. I used to work at Edible Arrangements as a fruit cutter, and unfortunately sometimes I had the displeasure of taking customer orders as well. And there was one lady I was talking to me, I was placing an order, and I came to the question, could I have a name for the order? And she told me her name is Vanessa. And I was like, okay. So I started typing in Vanessa. And she said, that's V as in van, A as in apple, and then N as in knife, which really confused me. Because, I don't know what concerned me more there.
I was really worried there for a second.
Well, it concerned me for two reasons. One, because knife begins with K, and two, because why was it the first word that came to her mind while she was talking to me? So I was worried she was going to attack me or something.
You along the wall with your hoof. Hoof. Is that hoof? Yes. You are deer.
Yes.
Yes.
Deer.
So, just to preface this is back in
Oh.
Florida. So, a whole hell of a lot
If you could stand up to get your voice out, because I have a hard
I
time
can't
hearing
hear
you. Yeah. I can't hear you. Sorry.
Preface it as this happened in Florida, so you know how Florida works.
Florida man.
I worked at a beach club down there, and whenever people came in, a lot of tourists would come in, and their whole thing is, I'm in Florida, I'm going to eat diet food and drink a bunch of booze. I don't know why that was the case. But one of the ladies finally decided that she was going to get a Cobb salad, and I said, okay, great. And normally we bring her blue cheese, but she asked for ranch, and I bring her side of ranch. She asked for another side of ranch. I bring her another side of ranch. She asked for, well, do you have something bigger, like a bowl? I'm like, you want a bowl of ranch? So I go back and I say, can I get a bowl of ranch? And they're like, okay, yeah, but you're gonna have to upcharge them like $3 or $4. Bring them back the bowl of ranch. Don't have to worry about anything. They pay their check, leave a tip. It was like a quarter and 3 pennies or something like that. It's Florida. And the bowl of ranch was gone, but the Cobb salad, untouched.
So she just wanted the bowl of ranch dressing.
Yes, the entire bowl was gone. There were like remnants of course, like the ranch on the table, like some little driblets of ranch. But
Who eats that much? Who eats that much ranch dressing?
That's in Florida.
Oh my god. You and all the way in the back of the ears.
Okay, so I have a couple stories. Pick a number 1 to 4.
Just pick one.
Okay. So this one happened back a little bit after Halloween, and it was close enough that people were still partying. So I was towards the end of my shift. It was late at night. Then there's somebody came in and they wanted to buy cigarettes, whatever. And so I asked them what kind, and they say, the rich, no, the camp, Mars, Marlboro. I'm like, Marlboro? It's like, yeah, that one. I'm like, okay, what kind? Because there's like 20 different kinds of Marlboro.
There is, yes.
She's like, the crispy ones? I don't know how to respond. I say, crispy green. And at this point, I don't know what to do because I have to get through her. And eventually she just says, I think they're called the smooth ice. And I don't know how you get that from Krispy Kreme, but I gave her them. And so she takes them, whatever, goes off to the corner by, between the door and 8 p.m. And, while I'm dealing with the other customers, I see her over there sniffing the cigarettes. Just, smells like shit, and then walks out. I don't have any explanation.
I don't even have anything to give you, except for what?
This happened in Indiana.
Yes.
I thought so. I feel ya. I was from Vermont.
All right, you that I pointed to. Yes, you.
All right. So I don't exactly work in retail. I work in tech support, which is even worse than retail.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, in tech support we have what's called a ticketing system where we write notes about what we're doing and use it to manage the different stuff that we have going on at the same time. And we've had the habit of saving our funniest updates and other situations that have been made in the ticketing system. So I'm just going to read a few of them here. Customer formatted hard drive during an update because there was not enough room for the update to install. Customer description. I was trying to fix the F key and it went reverse. I've been trying to fix it and I got it. Also, I accidentally recovered my laptop and I did not back up files and apps. It went start over and I need to bring my laptop back the way it was before recovery. Customer supplied password. Click on right guy's heart, then the left guy's heart, then the bicep of the guy on the left. Customer reports having spilled Gatorade on laptop while writing a paper. Began tear down to investigate. Discovered that the Gatorade was orange. Customer reports that laptop smells like weed after son used it. Customer description. My worthless husband is using my work laptop to watch porn and has weird titty pop-ups all day. Customer description. Can you help me install the... Also, just a pro tip. If you try to hide something on your computer and then bring it in for data recovery, just a note. We don't see your files and folders that you have hidden stuff inside. All we see is a big list of all of your pictures with thumbnails.
Dangerous game you're playing.
You. Yes, you.
I work in a deli at a grocery store, and for the most part, I haven't had too many crazy instances with customers or coworkers. But a few months ago, this is a serious one. It was an afternoon rush. A bunch of customers are in front of us. We're trying to get them as quickly as possible, though myself included. There's only like 2 or 3 of us up front. And all of a sudden, I hear someone groan, followed by what sounded like a crash. And the part of my store where the deli is located is kind of almost like an echo chamber of a room.
Mhm.
So to me, when I hear that, it sounded like someone maybe crashed into something in the produce section. So I heard something like rolling on the ground, like dropping a bunch of marbles. Turns out I can't see this because of like the 10 people in front of me, but some poor guy had a seizure right nearby where we had our soup, and apparently it was him groaning, it was him falling on the floor. So, but I can't see all this because all the people in front of me, until all of a sudden everybody parts as they're trying to get him some help. And I see he's banging his head on the ground at the point where it's starting to bleed, and they're asking us to help. My coworker says, I can tell that man already called 911 who's right next to him across the way. So we're just waiting for the people to arrive. We're like, well, get some help, get them some towels. We don't have towels in our area, sir. What do you mean you guys don't have towels? We just don't. We don't use them in our department. We have paper towels, though. Well, can't you resupply them? So we're giving them like almost all of our paper towels. We're, no joke, almost out of them. Luckily, help finally arrives and the gentleman recovered, but for some reason it took him a while. So they wheel him out, and from what I've heard, the gentleman recovered, he was fine. And here's what he said after he finally came to, just before the ambulance drove away. Did I pick up any bread?
You in front of him. Yes.
I don't work in retail. I work at a fast food restaurant. I work at Noodles and Company.
Oh.
I hate my
It's
job.
retail. That is retail.
It is retail.
Okay, well, I'm an imbecile. It's okay. I work first register 9 days out of 10, or 7 days a week, basically. That is the worst register we have. It doesn't take Apple Pay. It doesn't do wireless cards, and most of the time the chip doesn't work.
Great.
So you have to swipe your card, and it won't let you swipe the card until the chip is malfunctioned 3 times. So when I remember the first instance of this happening was this girl was trying to use Apple Pay, and it wouldn't work. So she was getting increasingly more pissed off. And this is a brand new iPhone X, like, just came out of the box. You can tell she just took the casing off of it, because it looks new. She proceeds to beat her phone on the terminal until it shatters, and then proceeds to break in half. And then requests my manager. Told my manager I broke the phone, and wanted me to reimburse her for it. So I looked at the cameras, watched her break the phone, and proceeded to call the police.
Yeah. Nice.
She was asked to leave, like, politely by like 3 different police officers until like she got mad and punched one of them.
Oh!
I'm just sitting in this corner going, "Taser!" And they just dragged her out the front door, which was enjoyable to watch because like you can just see this screaming white girl like flailing around as they're dragging her out.
Did they care?
Follow up question. Do you at least get the 2 parts iPhones you have as an inventor?
My manager has that in a what's it called? A picture frame on the wall.
You in the corner with the
Raptor?
yes.
Yeah. So, here's the thing is this, I work at Meyer, which has nice high ceilings, but back in the back with the break room, there's a drop ceiling. The thing is that our ceilings are above, our sprinklers are above the drop tile ceiling. The drop ceiling is our insulation. The first day of the year that it froze, the sprinklers froze because they're above the ceiling.
Yeah.
And the ceiling, like, between them is not insulated. So the sprinklers froze. Well, apparently our fire panel has a pressure sensor that when the sprinklers go off, which is, it counts anything leaking out as going off. Apparently when that happens, it sets off the fire alarms.
Oh no.
And this was on the first freeze of the year, so no one was really prepared for it. No one had like any, real coats or anything. So basically, the fire alarms start going off. We were like, what the heck is happening? I don't smell smoke. So it's a good 10 minutes of that before the manager starts running around and saying, okay, fire department says, on the phone says we have to get out of the building. We're literally like, we can see the fire station from the front door, but it still takes them like a good 45 minutes to show up because reasons, I'm not sure why. And then, basically nothing happens for a very, very, very long time because, apparently you can't just shut down the sprinklers. It's a long process, and when the sprinklers are shut down, the alarm doesn't stop going off because the pressure sensor is still low. So, we're sitting out here in the parking lot. I've grabbed the camp chairs out of my car. We're just sitting around in front of the store the doors have been propped open by the fire department, so we've got some heat at least. We're just sitting here for hours on end. Still clocked in, by the way. And,
I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
yeah. And eventually this happened at about 1:30 in the morning. It's about 3 a.m. at this point. We decide, okay, we're hungry. We're just gonna go to Taco Bell. We get in one of the employees' cars. We go there. That's about the time they say the fire department says we can come back in. The alarm's still going off, by the way, and we're at Taco Bell waiting on our orders, and it's like, okay. So we come back in, we get there, and wait a second, the alarms are still going off? Yeah, we were told to keep working through the alarms. Yeah.
Oh, God.
It took about 4:30 in the morning till the battery in the fire panel, which they had cut the breaker to, finally died and the alarm stopped going off. Yeah. And then for the next 2-3 days while they were fixing the sprinkler system, they just paid one of the cashiers to walk around the store on fire watch because that's what the fire marshal said to do. That was fun.
How does that guy walk around?
You in the back.
So, I used to work at a grocery store that was nearing the end of its lifetime. So, I worked in the meat department where they would cut the meats and whatnot. Now, during the night shift, one of the usual things they do is they would vent all the cold air outside of the cutting room via a duct fan. It's supposed to be on a timer delay, so it'll automatically kick off in, say, like 30 minutes or so. And this would usually go on for about, and everybody would close out for about 12 hours or whatnot.
Speak up, please.
So, we had one night where I was going to be the first person in at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Go in to try and get into the doors. Wait a minute. I can't get in. Go off to the side. All the doors, or I should say all the doors to these, open outward.
Yeah.
So, we found out like a bit of a humming noise coming from the room as we realized that the fan was still going. It took about 2, maybe 3 hours to be able to access our own department before having to manually go on the roof and cut the power to the fan.
Did it freeze the doors or did they lock?
The doors opened outward, so because of the vacuum seal, it was physically impossible to move these.
Oh, wow.
So, unless you wanted to physically remove the doors.
I have to stand up for this story. This story haunts my dreams to this day. I wish it never happened.
Oh boy.
So I work at a store where you buy used clothes and you sell them to other people. Plato's Closet. I was maybe like 18 at the time. I wasn't working there that long. I'd only been working there for like a little more than a year, I think. There was this guy. So our racks are where like you can
go underneath them. Like, you can hide underneath them. Sometimes we chill in them on our breaks. Like, you can fit a lot under them. This guy was going under them and pooping under our long sleeves. And my managers didn't want to deal with it, so guess who cleaned it up every time? Me, right? We ended up finding out. We caught the guy. It was a guy trying to get back at his ex-girlfriend who worked there. For months straight, I cleaned up this guy's poop for my coworker that I hated. So that's it was yeah.
I've got a couple. One involves a lot of blood. One involves a lot of weed. Which one do you want to hear?
Do the weed one.
Weed. Oh, great. I've also got a very short one about sex, but it's a bit R-rated, so I don't know if I should say it.
Nah.
Yeah.
Just weed.
Okay.
Just weed.
So I was working in a hotel, which isn't really retail, but you work with the same crap you've got to deal with the public. So I was walking around at the night shift. It was about 1 in the morning, and I come across a bloke whose face was completely destroyed. I was like, "You alright?" He was like, "Yeah." "Do you need an ambulance?" "Nah." "Can you stop dripping on the carpet, please?" "Sorry." So I kept walking along, and at the top of the fire escape was a 2-metre wide pool of blood. The way that he tripped over the top step and just gone onto the ground.
Wow.
And it was all up the walls as well. So I went to on the radio. I was like, "Oi, Pete, you got to come and see this. This is great." He came, and they were like, "Oh my god, that's quite a lot of blood." So we had to go get the cold water and the soap, and we had to mop that up. I went, "No, that's the blood story. I was supposed to tell the weed story." Sorry, I got completely mixed up.
That's okay. You can tell us the weed story, please.
Oh, sure, okay. So this was Sunday morning at about 5:30, and we were coming to the end of the night shift. We were all like chill in the office, and suddenly the fire alarms go off. And we're like, "Oh god," and it's gone off across the whole hotel. Usually it's only in the staff office, so we can find out where it is. And we're like, "Oh, it's in the whole hotel. It's like some inferno upstairs." So we had to look at the thing that has all the rooms on it. It said, "Oh, it's in room 224, whatever." Like, "Oh, okay, I've got to go up there." So I charged up the stairs, surrounded by customers, guests that are just like, "What's going on? What's going on?" It's 5:30 in the morning. I wanted to have a lie in, so I had to sprint up to the door, and I could see smoke coming out from under it. I'm like, "Oh god!" So I opened the door. I was like, "That's pretty good." Oh my god! He hotboxed his whole room. It was so dense I couldn't see in there. And he put a little sock over the fire alarm.
Wow.
So after we'd thrown him out, he actually turned around as he was leaving. He's like, "I want to be reimbursed for the days I didn't get to stay here." We were just like, "Get out of it." And then we spent the whole morning doing refunds for people who wanted to sleep in on Sunday.
Oh my god. That was great. You with the beard.
Okay.
That looks fashy.
I work at Walmart, and
I'm sorry.
at the time
I'm
of
sorry.
this story, I was doing the wireless department, so my job was to sell cell phones to people.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
And we have a policy at Walmart that we can only return phones and refund them after 15 days, whereas, normally electronics is 30 or 90 days. And I tell everybody this at every single transaction, but you guys know customers don't listen. So I have this old guy, this rickety old guy who comes into my store. He has only the phone. He doesn't have the packaging. He doesn't have the receipt. He plonks it down and goes, "I want my money back." And I'm like, "I can't do that without the receipt or the packaging." So he digs around and pulls out this really nasty, ratty receipt dated from about 6 months ago. I'm like, "I'm sorry, it's too old. We can't do this." And he goes, "No, I want my money back." And we proceed to do the whole, the round and round where he refuses to listen, and I just restate the same thing again and again. Like 5 minutes later, he leans over the counter, looks me dead in the eye with this horrible, cold stare, and goes, "I could have my concealed carry on me right now." And I'm like, "I'm going to get a manager to talk to you, sir. Please wait right here." So I just run out of the department, tell the customer service manager, and he pulls out his walkie, and he gives the alert for an active shooter situation. And all of the store's management comes sprinting from across the store to my department. I have never seen these guys move that fast. They're jogging at max speed. And they pulled this guy aside, they pull me aside, they ask me what's going on, and I explain it to him. And they are asking the other guy, and he's going, "I just wanted to talk about my gun collecting hobby with this guy."
Okay.
Yeah, so they ended up getting him kicked out of the store, but I had to sit down and take a few breaths after that one.
Oh yeah.
Did they make you do the active shooter CBL the next day?
I had done it last week, actually.
You all the way in the back with the fuzzy ears.
So this is a story from a friend of mine who works fast food at a Subway. So a guy comes in the Subway, he orders the meatloaf sub. Now it's not on the menu, but it's something they actually do have. My friend, he's worked there a bit, he's familiar with it, so he goes to look under the shelf where they normally keep it. They're all out there. He says, we're all out, I'm gonna go check the freezer, see if we have any extra. The guy's like, okay, go ahead. Friend goes check the freezer, they're all out in the freezer. So he comes out and he says to the customer, I'm sorry, sir, we don't have we're all out. I check the location. He's like, no, you must be new here. You don't understand. You have it. It's just not on the menu. The customer reiterates. And he's like, I understand that, sir, but I checked the location and we're all out in the back. So get me a manager, someone who's been here longer. He's like, all right, fine. Friend goes to get the manager, takes the manager to the freezer, shows them the location, shows them it's empty. And like, okay. The manager comes back out, explains to the customer, like, I'm sorry, sir, we checked it and we're all out. And the guy reiterates, is he getting increasingly angry? He's like, no, you have it. It's not on the menu. You don't understand. This goes on for about a minute. Before this time, he just looks my friend dead in the eye, real like he's like, this is your fault. He goes in, and this Subway was something really weird, so that you could see the front door to the restroom from the counter. So he pops up the front restroom door, looks my friend again, dead in the eye, kneels down, propping the door open with his body, and begins to induce vomiting. At this point, all the employees in the store have gathered to watch. And they're just like, the manager has already gone to call the police. Because what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
After the guy stops for the first time, he begins to induce vomiting a second time. After the second time, one of the employees looks at him like, sir, can you please stop? And he's just like, no! And just keeps doing it over and over again. By the time the ambulances arrive, the guy has passed out in a pool of his own vomit in a Subway restroom because he couldn't get a meatloaf sub.
Me? Okay, I'll preface this. It's a little bit gross. I used to work at Starbucks, and one day I'm on bar, and a gentleman comes over and goes, hey, just to let you know, the bathroom needs a little attention. I'm like, I'm sorry, I need you to clarify, and he goes, oh, no, it just needs a little attention. Sir, can you please tell me what's wrong? It's at least a 6 out of a 10. I'm like, so I start walking over because I got to go check this out, and my manager goes, where do you think you're going? I'm like, checking out a 6 out of 10. So I open this door and it's bad. It's like you can see the sequence of events. It runs up and over the toilet, up onto the wall. It is.
That's worse than a 6
I
out
want
of
to
10.
know to this day, I want to know what this guy's 10 out of 10 was. we had to call biohazard removal.
Bless your soul for working at Starbucks. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it actually wasn't that bad. We call biohazard removal, and this woman comes and she goes, all right, which one is it? Goes in, comes out an hour later, comes to the counter and goes, oh, that was bad. Made her a free drink.
So I got 5 minutes left on this on my panel, so I just need like one more story. It's preferably for people who haven't shared yet. So the one that's by the far yes, you that's just like peeking out.
Starbucks again.
Where do you get people to stop ordering frappuccinos at McDonald's? It's not called a frappuccino unless it's at Starbucks.
I know.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's a Mac Frappuccino.
Somebody asked for a frappiano once.
It's one of those carrot stories. I posted the whole thing on Reddit. Some customer asked for a Java chip frappuccino, complained it didn't taste like chocolate, and she wanted a Java chip. Both me and my coworker looked at each other and said, Starbucks Java chip frappuccinos are made with dark chocolate chips, and mocha is added by default, so yes, it's going to be chocolate flavored. After making the same exact drink in the same exact way, the same exact size, she accepted it and we politely said, have a nice day. She responded back with staring daggers at us. It looked like she had halitosis. Her eyes were giant. They were even jaundiced, looking this creepy. And she responded with, you don't have to be so snarky. And then she went further and started screaming louder, you were one of my employees, I'd fire you.
Okay.
She's like, if you mess up once, I'd fire you right on the spot.
And then me and my coworker are looking at each other, and she's like, "This has to be the worst part of the story, is because we started making jokes about her working at a Chinese sweatshop."
Oh no. So, I only got like 3 minutes left, so I actually have one more story to tell you guys from my own personal experience. This is actually from my dad. My dad was a manager at Rite Aid, and he actually told me this story about like 2 months ago when I told him that I'm doing a panel. And he's like, please use this story. So he was a manager, and they worked across the street from a bank where they would make their deposits. And my dad said that they would always carry 2 bags. One was a dummy bag. The other one was filled with the real legit money. Now, the first part of this is scary, but the second part of this, I swear to God, it'll make you guys laugh. So, unfortunately, my dad's walking with the security guard, and the guy comes up behind my dad, puts a knife to his neck and says, "Give me the money." Dad's like, "Okay." So he gives him the dummy bag. Not really, the guy didn't know that there was 2 bags. So this guy turns around and starts going Mach 1. Somehow, he's going so fast, he doesn't see this tree. This is not a little tree. This is a big oak tree. The guy, my dad swears this on his life. The guy splats right into this tree. Doesn't bounce off of it, but he basically does Wile E. Coyote and just slides down this tree. Right? So because he hit this tree so hard, he just slides on down this tree and just goes full. The guy's knocked out cold. Knocked out cold. So they call the police, they call, everything, everybody. The police officers have to use smelling salt to wake this guy up. He was that knocked out. And my dad said it was the funniest thing he's ever seen, because he was just expecting this guy to just bounce back. No, this guy slid down a tree like a cartoon character does after they just splat into it. So, I mean, my dad's fine and all, but up until this day, it's like he looks back on it when he needs to chuckle at something, and it just was so funny because his coworkers were asking him, "Are you okay?" Because he was just robbed, and he's like, No, you don't understand. I need a few days before I can tell you how much this happened, because he's laughing on the inside of it, and he can't tell the story because nobody else saw what he saw. All right, it is now 2 o'clock, guys. Thank you all for coming. And I want to get one selfie of this amazing group of people that has done this stuff. So thank you guys so much for making my first panel, the most amazing panel ever. So thank you guys amazingly. Thank you all. Thank you.
You heard it, not always.